What is up, everybody? You know what day it is. Tuesday night with your boys on Flyers Talk A2D. It's here. The season's finally here. We're a few games in. Some teams are 3 to 4. Flyers are 2. We're going to discuss Flyers as always. 1-1 on the season. We're going to discuss the first 2 games. We're going to kind of break them down a little bit. We're also going to preview the game tonight going on at 10 o'clock. We will be off the air by the time that this game starts, but we're still going to talk about it anyway. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. You guys already know what to do. Hit that share button on Facebook. Hit that retweet on X. It's time to talk some Flyers hockey. Let's go. Time to talk some puck.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of Flyers Talk A2D here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sinsudi along with the Dark Wing, Brian Daly.
Holy crap, do these rookies look like they belong?
And the Broken One, Rob Povia, making his epic return.
If it wasn't for sports, I don't think I would have made it here tonight.
And Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Broadway, Mr. Switzerland, Big Bad Brad Ryer. And today we are brought to you by none other than Specialized Physical Therapy, the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. If you got any aches and pains that are bugging you, hit up the doc at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And after a few sessions with the doc, you will feel as good as new and have nothing to worry about. So, SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Along with that, the poll question for tonight is, despite being 1-1, the Flyers look like a better team from last year. Agree or disagree? Obviously, they played well in Vancouver and in Calgary. They just didn't get the result in Calgary. But they got the result in Vancouver, in the shootout of all things. So, gents, after seeing the first 2 games of the season, with the third one coming up later tonight, how do you feel about this Flyers team? Do you agree? Do you think that this is a better looking team already? Or do you disagree? For whatever reason, maybe it's a little early, or maybe because it's still a rebuilding team, whatever the reason might be. Where you guys fall on? Agree or disagree?
Robbie, hit it.
Oh, you're gonna have me go for. Oh man,
You've missed the last few shows, man. Let's go. Don't. We're throwing you right back in.
Well, it's been nice having this start out on the West Coast for me because by 10 o'clock you can really settle down and watch it on TV or on your streaming device in my case, and really get a good look at this young squad. Like I said, it's definitely helped me through a hard time family-wise right now. The Flyers, I think they've looked a lot better from last season, and they were already a near playoff team, and this is for a few reasons. So I agree to the poll. You could take some negatives away. The kids did have a few turnovers and made some simple mistakes that I feel can be easily fixed. But the key thing is they've looked so creative around the net and way more explosive and fast, especially Michkov, but even Jetlichenko too, surprisingly making this team as we first hypothesized weeks ago, fellas, and it was a pipe dream. I didn't think it was going to happen, and he sure enough made the team, getting his beak wet. Could be here to stay. I think we'll talk more about that later, but in the end, the kids look good. The coaching staff is keeping it simple. Defense and snipe. That's the name of the game in today's NHL. And you can't forget about Forrester, too, in his sophomore campaign. He looked mighty good against Vancouver. And then stepping in took a 10-minute misconduct and an instigator, but standing up for Jamie. That's what you want to see, a tight-knit group starting the year on the West Coast, getting that West Coast, Western Canada trip out of the way that you normally have to do during the holidays, which is really a gauntlet, getting it out of the way, being on the road together, becoming a team. We're watching these kids grow right before our very eyes, and it's starting from day one.
It's hard to disagree with that one, Robbie. First of all, those on the YouTube side, make sure you vote on that poll. We're going to read the results off later on in the show, so make sure you vote. I'm going to agree with the poll. I think, despite being 1-1, I thought this team has looked good. I mean, the second half of the game just kind of really went downhill in Calgary. The first two games is a back-to-back. It's tough, especially early on in the season. You don't quite have your legs completely under you at that point. Very, very tough. Some bounces didn't really go their way. The first goal, bounced off for Huberdeau and in, is what it is. Jet looked very good. He definitely had his rookie moments. That speed, though. I saw a few guys commenting it already. That speed, though. He's going to be the real deal. And I was going to say send him down, but if he keeps playing the way he does, if he gets a couple points in the next few games, he might be up for the year. Michkov looked like a rookie in that first game against Vancouver. In the first half of the game, second half, looked unreal. Looked so comfortable. Looked like he was ready to be there. Looks like he shook the nerves. My big bugaboo, and this was my bugaboo going into the season, and it's been a worry, and it is not any better. Ivan Fedotov did not look good against Calgary. He had a couple moments here and there where he looked pretty good, but he looked slow going side to side. His tracking just does not look good. This is what I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, is he's got a lot to prove, because he's got a guy right behind him that's ready to take that job. So he's got to prove himself, and he's got to prove himself early. He let up 6 goals against Calgary. I'm not one of those people that think Calgary is a team that's going to finish in the bottom 5. They're going to be in the bottom half, but I think they're going to be in the mid-bottom half. This is a team that still has a lot of offense, still has a lot of guys that can do some damage, and we saw that, unfortunately. And unfortunately, they got him in the back half of a back-to-back. It is what it is, but, I mean, you got some really good things to look forward to. The rookies look good. The power plays look pretty good so far. Early yet, I know, but I believe they're, 25% going into this game tonight on the power play?
2 for 8.
That's a pretty damn good number.
Yeah.
So
both in the Calgary game, too, so you take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. There were some bright spots in the Calgary game despite the score. There's going to be games where you're going to have blowouts where the team's still going to look all right, and there's going to be games where you're going to get blown out and the team's just going to look like straight garbage. But all in all, I agree to the poll. I think this team is pretty good. There's a lot to look forward to this year, and I'm looking forward to see what they do against the 0-3 Edmonton Oilers team, whose goaltending looks incredibly suspect early on here. But then again, they did early last year too.
Let me jump right in before we go back to Maddie. I just want to comment on this, because that was a big minus for me too. Fedotov, he looked sluggish in net, and he looked slow moving pipe to pipe, having a tough time making adjustments still to the NHL game. Hey, maybe it's just a bad game. It's early. He did make some timely big saves, but there was times where Calgary made him look silly, allowing some bad goals. But Calgary, it's tough to discern what this team is, because they did not make the playoffs last year, yet they beat Flyers' opponent tonight, the Edmonton Oilers, en route to their 0-3 start, and put up 6 goals against this upstart Flyers team. They could be sniffing at that door, making a push back towards the playoffs. So it's tough to really discern at this early juncture, I think.
No, for sure. Calgary's one of those teams right now that's still looking for an identity. So to take that for what it is. Take that for however you want to take it. But just a lot of guys are sleeping on the Flames. I'm not one to do that, because as long as you have Huberdeau and you have Kadri, you're going to have some form of offense. And they still have a pretty damn good power play. A lot of people want to question their defense. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay. I will question their defense. backup goalie. Okay, I'm with that, but don't sleep on Wolf. Dustin Wolf is a very good goaltender, and he's going to win them a lot of games. But again, it was a tough matchup for them. It was a back-to-back against two tough teams. But then again, like I know some people will disagree with us. It's the NHL. Every game's tough. Every game is tough. It's like the NFL. Whether you're playing a 12-0 team or an 0-12 team, every game is tough. It is professional hockey. But like I said, this team's look good so far. There's a lot of positives to take away from this team in the first two games. Hopefully they can give something else to build off of into this game. By the way, I'm calling it now. Lutsenko with at least 1 point tonight.
Nice.
Yikes.
No, I said nice.
Oh, I thought you said yikes. My bad. I'm just gonna, I'm putting myself in the box. I'll be back.
All right. Let's see. Mike's saying, also remember Fedotov is just a backup. We have Peterson, who's worse than that, and we got Kolosov as Peterson's backup in Lehigh Valley as a Phantoms tandem. And besides that, Priz was also saying Alexander Georgiev looked like a backup AHL goalie if that makes Fedotov feel any better. Tommy, what's going on, brother? What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Wills? So with the way that the Flyers played in the first two games, game one, I definitely think that there was a little bit more. You could tell that it was a back-to-back. You could tell that the team was a little tired going into Calgary. They weren't as. I don't think that they were as aggressive as they were in Vancouver. In Vancouver, I felt like they were a little bit more on the Canucks. They were a little bit more going after the Canucks, whereas I felt like in Calgary they were kind of like you were a little gassed, and it's tough because you're doing a back-to-back where you're going from Vancouver to Calgary. So you're traveling as soon as you're done your game in Vancouver. So I could see where they probably were a little tired. They seem to have found their game a little bit in the second period. So you could tell that they were kind of rebounding a little bit as the game went along. The game in Vancouver, I will say that I think the Flyers, as they continued to get more comfortable playing against the Canucks, it started to show that, okay, they can have that speed, they can have that attack, they can have that solid play. They did manage to get a power play goal, which is something that's huge right now for the Flyers, is that their power play was showing some signs of life and showing some aggressiveness and some ability to get on those loose pucks and get them on net and make them actually a threat, which speaks a lot to what happened last year. But the one real glowing negative I think I could pull from that Calgary game was definitely what we've been talking about, and that was Fedotov. He seems like he's a big lummox. He's just in net, and he's having a real hard time getting around and covering the angles, and he's not as square to the shooter a lot of times as well, and it's catching him off guard a lot, and to me, that's a really bad thing to see, because it's like that's something that's pretty basic that he's having a hard time staying under control over. So I was a little worried about that. He just didn't look good in net really at all. He looked like he was fighting himself in net a lot of times, trying to make saves and trying to get out there. And maybe there were times where he was being overly aggressive. It's just like, pull back a little bit. You're going too far. There were times he would come out of his net and be like, why are you coming out of your net? Stay back a little bit, and whereas it seemed like you could tell that Urson has played a little bit more because Urson seemed very comfortable against Vancouver. So it's like you could tell it was night and day difference.
Oh, dude, Urson was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was absolutely phenomenal. He was in the groove. He was in the groove early. He had to make this couple big saves, and after that, he was locked in.
Absolutely.
First period, he was dynamite in the first period. He's like a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Really was. Vancouver came out flying in the first period, and he was able to keep the Flyers in the game. And then when they
Right.
scored on the power play, that was very, very key.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
Vancouver reached double-digit shots really quickly, and if it wasn't for a good play from Harrison, they would have had to dig themselves out of a hole.
He was spectacular. I mean, some of those saves he made were lights out.
and they were deflating saves too, because you could tell Vancouver was getting frustrated. A
Oh
lot of their
yeah.
players were just shaking their head, wondering how's he
I
making
mean,
these saves?
they got one, but it easily that game. If Fedotov was in goal, it would have been 4-0 after the first period.
Yeah, and they got to figure out. They really,
Guys, I'm sorry, that guy he does not look very good right now. I mean, I don't know what the Flyers saw in him in Russia, but whatever they saw in him, it's so far it has not translated very well.
well,
What
keep
I
in
think
mind.
happened, Brad, was that he got stuck over there longer than the typical prospect would have. So playing in the KHL, you develop habits that are indicative of that game that are harder to break now that you're a 27, 28-year-old versus a 22-year-old like Holoslav is.
I mean, he's big, so he should be coming out. If his overall fundamental game isn't great, his size, he should be just coming out and cutting down the angle. And if he comes out a little bit and cuts down the angle instead of having his rear end in the net all the time, I mean, I just don't think he's quick enough to play that kind of a game.
Well, here's the other problem too. When he would come out of his net, he'd come out of his net at a bad time, and that would leave him
Also,
wide open on the other side, and Calgary would take advantage of it.
yeah, but his angles were not good either.
Right, right.
I mean, he whatever it is, he needs to be coached up.
Yeah, it was a rough game one for him in the season. Definitely need to spend some time on some fundamental stuff with him, and really need to work on some stuff in practice.
Guys,
You still got
two,
the 10 bell saves though. Like so there's some glimmer of hope there that he can get coached up, Brad.
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, I'll tell you what, though, guys. After seeing, because I did watch the beginning of that game, game two. I watched a lot of the first game. Kind of fell asleep in the second game. I'm old, but after the tribute to Gaudreau, I knew they were in trouble because you know what? You knew Calgary was really going to come out hard. And they were playing that game for Gaudreau, and to me. I saw that. I was like, boy, it's going to be tough for them to win this game. You got a back-to-back to start the season, which is just ridiculous. Everybody else is playing every 2-3 days, and you make this team play back-to-back. I mean, does somebody not like the Flyers or something? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
Flyers weren't the only one playing back to back, though.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, they wait the longest to play. And then they're playing back to back. It just, to me, that didn't make any sense at all.
it's a rough start to the
I mean, you
season.
couldn't let them go out there and play Thursday. At
And
least give
don't,
them a night off.
like I said, it's a rough start to the season. But for the most part, like I said, I felt that I felt, now you guys might have a different opinion on it, but I felt in the Calgary game, I felt like I could tell the difference between the teams tired. It took them a minute to get into the game. Like the second period, they were playing a lot better. And it just seemed like they were covering things better. They were getting on the puck better. But that first period, they were having a rough go of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Vancouver came out aggressive in game one, but that's to be expected. It's opening night for them. And the Flyers had to weather the storm. But it seemed like they were much more on it and much more in control of what they needed to be in control of. Whereas in Calgary, it's like they're tired. They had a long travel. They've got to start this game now, and they got to try and see if they can get it together here for 60 minutes against a Calgary team that's, they're not out of the playoffs. Everybody's got a clean slate, so they're going to come out with everything they got to try and get their season started off right.
Inspired and playing the game for Johnny Gaudreau. Let's be honest, okay?
Right. That also fuels the fire big time.
That absolutely did, and they played a complete game. And to me, it just seemed like they weren't going to lose that game. They just played a very determined game. I think, by the middle of the season, I think the lack of talent and depth on that team is going to catch up with them. And they're going to they're not going to be a very good team. But early in the season, they're going to be tough to beat Calgary. Now the Flyers definitely look good. I thought really good against the Canucks, and yeah, again they didn't have solid goaltending in game two, but they really impressed me, especially the power play. They were throwing that puck around, and you know what? That was a beautiful play that they made. That pass Michkov made. I can't remember who scored the goal, but Michkov made a beautiful pass to set that baby up.
So let's see here. We got a starred comment from Swoopy saying, I know it's early, but why are the Flyers very aggressive and attack on the PK, but not even strength? Yeah, they ought to be on the PL, but why back off it on even strength? It was last year too, so this relates back to last year as well. Well, we have to also remember too that Torts is a defensive-minded coach. So I think that does lead to a little bit more of, in terms of aggressive on the attack, that kind of aggression on the attack. There is going to be some limit to it, but not. I don't think like anything that's too detrimental. But I think it's like a balance of you want to have your team more in its defensive structure than necessarily having it be where they're super aggressive to shove the puck down your throat. Because of the way that Torts' system runs. He wants block shots and he wants guys to get back on defense. So a lot of times with defensive-minded coaches, they tend to not always be the most aggressive in terms of pushing their team on the attack.
What the hell's up with all these scammers popping in here?
I don't know.
It's all right. I'm booting them all. That's like the fifth one.
Good Lord.
Tagged me a couple times. Rob just got tagged. Matt, you're next.
Yeah, probably.
They stay away from the old man, guys.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with Benny. Benny just dropped a couple comments in here that I agree with. And since we're on the subject of it, Benny's last comment that just came in, he said, well, you can't play close to 60 minutes of aggressive hockey. I agree with that. You can't. You have to sit back at some point. You have to play smart. You can't just be all gung-ho. And like you were saying, Maddie, like this is a defensive team or a defensive-minded team, and they should be. Pick your chances. This is hockey's kind of starting to move into the we're going to play solid defense, and we're going to try and score on the rush. That's a lot of teams are doing that now. It seems to be a philosophy that's working because the game's faster. It's just flat out what it is. The game is faster, so you don't have to be as aggressive. But obviously, you know, when you get the puck into the opposing zone, be aggressive on the forecheck, get some shots off before they clear it. But I mean, for the most part, this is a game that's being played off the rush and in transition now. So,
and that's the thing too. That I'm happy you brought that up, Bryce. Like a lot of last year, one of the things the Flyers were really good at was attacking in transition by causing turnovers and then flipping it the other way. And that seems to be where a lot of the aggressive attack comes from the Flyers. So if you're going to see that happen, it's because they caused something to happen on the neutral zone and they're counterattacking. That's where a lot of the aggression it came from last year for the Flyers. So I would suspect the same would happen this year. Vancouver wasn't really making that many mistakes in the neutral zone. So that was the thing. That's why you didn't see it nearly as much.
Maddie, we saw the game plan. Right.
Vancouver was on the attack, and I mean, let's be honest, Urson just was tremendous in that game.
He was.
He won the game for you guys without question. Okay, I mean, and look, the Flyers did not give them second and third shots, and that was key. And when there was a rebound, they were there to clear the puck. So they did a nice job there. And they were able to withstand all that pressure in the first period, and they were right there. And the fact that they were able to come back in the third period, that's huge. Coming back against a good team like Vancouver on the road, in the third period, that's not easy to do.
And a shootout. We're not supposed to win those.
Shootout. What a move by Frost, by the way.
Oh yeah. That was pretty. And TK too, to even it up. I
Right.
thought after Vancouver scored, I'm like, yep, that's
Right.
it. We're going to lose this one. And
Right.
then TK scored.
Right. And Maddie, to your earlier point, this is what we saw last year. We saw the game plan. We saw the blueprint, right? Play tight defense, take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, quick transition, snipe. Now you got more talent in that pool. You got a Mitchkov that really can eat up that type of system, right? And a young play, and these young players that we're seeing in Forrester and Jet in the first game, understandable. I didn't expect them to start that young of a player in back-to-back games on the road. Like, I think that's why you have Noah Cates there, right? So you can sub him as the logical center iceman replacement. But Jet playing above his hockey IQ, playing good defense, helping towards that transition game, right? And you get this skill level that all of a sudden this could become a very dangerous team.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So
Frizz-
real quick, Maddie, before you jump on there, Robbie, the other thing you got to remember with Lachenko too, he's played a lot of hockey. So the Flyers are doing what the Ducks did with Leo Carlson last year. He's not going to play every game. He's going to play here and there because he's already played a ton of hockey, and he's probably going to get ramped up a little bit more if he goes past a 9-game tryout. And if he gets past it, that bye week that they have, after that, they're probably going to ramp him up a little bit more so that way he can get some rest. And because, like I said, played a ton of hockey to this point. You know, he's got to get some rest in there. You don't want to burn out the 18-year-old. And the one thing I think we're also forgetting that I'm surprised none of you have pointed out yet is how well Jamie Drysdale's been.
Oh,
Putting
okay.
himself in great position, making plays, blocking shots. A healthy Jamie Drysdale is what I'm seeing with my eyeballs, and it's a beautiful thing because I've seen Jamie healthy watching the Ducks play, and a healthy Jamie Drysdale is a dangerous weapon, especially on the power play. If he can maintain that healthy play, continue playing the defensive way that he has so far after going through a full training camp with John Tortorella's system, that's all I can say.
That would be nice.
Got to keep him healthy, guys. Got to keep
Definitely
him healthy.
keep him healthy. There's 2-2 now between Dallas and San Jose. Sharks actually doing not that bad against Dallas. But then again,
It's
Go.
early in the season.
it is
Yeah.
early in the season, though.
You're gonna get some of these crazy games going on. Look at the Avalanche.
That's
for God's
true.
sake.
Hintz,
I mean-
though, he just crushed it into the top shelf. But anyway, what were you going to say, Robbie?
Sharks taking a tough hit with Celebrini going down to injury. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
talk about having the monitoring of players, minutes. That's gonna maybe help in that on that side of the coin. But I mean, that's they've shown good offense. You know, hopefully you can get back out there real soon.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation. Of course, he comes in, he gets a goal in the first game. Weird one, but it still counts.
Which he didn't
And-
even
and
know
he-
it went in.
No, he didn't. It just went off of one of the blue skates and into the net. But
Hey, they're all
anyway,
slap shots when you tell your grandkids. You know what I mean?
right.
They all count the same, right?
Yeah.
They're all
Right.
snipes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Minnesota's up 3-0. Marco Rossi, who I'm very keen on, is scored the third goal. He's got his first of the year.
Mm.
Shutting out the Blues right now.
Ooh, that's big because the Blues have been on a roll to start off their year. Priz saying that's the best way to play defensively, in my opinion. Force stupid passes and outlets and jump on it, make them pay. Overly aggressive in your own zone, leave shooting lanes.
Mhm.
And then Mike says, seriously, though, the effort is there for the Flyers. Play smart and have fun and just play hockey, and good things will happen. If you play with your head down to your pants, things will sour up. Keep playing with this intense effort. Even if nothing goes your way, just keep it up. It might get us into a position to knock out someone to get into a wild card position.
Good pep talk.
Yeah, I like that pep
I'm
talk.
fired up. Let's go. I got a wall right here.
Mike, do you coach a hockey team by any chance, or are you on one by any chance? Because that's some coach talk right there.
Yes.
So let's see here. Swoopy saying Hurricanes always play as 60 minutes attacking and aggressive hockey. But I will say this, Swoopy, they haven't won anything. Every year, they keep finding a way to get eliminated because the team finds a way to stop them.
Because their goaltending's trash.
They're Maple
That
Leaf
doesn't-
South.
The Rangers just own them, guys.
And Freddie Anderson played for both.
He sure did.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
And by the way, the
man.
Hurricanes are leading the Devils 4-2 late in the third period. Just wanted to
Interesting.
mention that. They're only
Any-
on their second, and again, they're playing their second game of the season as well, which is
Still, though, anytime the
insane.
Devils are losing, it's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
day.
a
It's a
You know
good
what else?
day.
You know what else is a good day? When you hit that like and subscribe and you tune into everything that A2D Radio has to offer. You got everything for everybody, whether you like wrestling, basketball, football, baseball, hockey. Obviously, you like hockey, you're tuning into the show. We got everything for everybody. So you want to hit that like, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You want to hit that sub on YouTube, hit that follow on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Hit that follow on Facebook as well. Never miss anything we have to offer you guys as far as shows and content. Hit that like, hit that sub. Definitely you want to turn on those notifications.
Let's see. Mike saying Sharks and Dallas have playoff history. Yes, they do. Priz says Dallas lost Dumba for a few weeks already, and Sagan's out tonight as well.
Ooh.
Sagan has been injury prone 90% of his career, and he's a phenomenal player too. That's the shame of it. When he's on the ice, my God, he's amazing. He gets hurt a lot.
Somebody who's got Photoshop just put Tyler Sagan's face on Bill Murray from Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
That's what it
I
is.
like it. I like it.
Every day he's injured.
Pretty much. Mike's saying, "How's the enemy doing in Anaheim?"
I wish the power play was better, but outside of that, I'm pretty happy.
I think he's talking about Cutter.
Yeah. I mean, the Ducks did shut out the Sharks a few nights back.
I stand by my comment.
Nice.
I like to see a little bit more on the power play, but other than that, I'm pretty happy.
Let's see here. Mike also saying Winnipeg is playing dangerous hockey.
They always
They
do.
are.
giving up 2 goals in 3 games will do that.
Prince says Delandria scored in his revenge game against Dallas. Yes, he did. He got the rebound opportunity to go in off of a really cool breakaway. Let's see here. Mike said the Canes are Chuck E. Cheese League South, but with 0 benefits. So be saying no, all-out aggressive and attacking hockey in your zone takes away shooting lanes. So he disagrees.
Yeah, but you can't play aggressive for 60 minutes, though, Swoopy. It's impossible. You know how tired you would be by the end of the second period? You can't play that aggressive all the time.
Priz saying Dallas's power play is 1 for 12. Ooh.
I don't. Can I change my Stanley Cup pick from last week?
Oh, God, come on.
It's only, what, 3 games in? You're already doomed.
I'm the kiss of death, remember?
Okay.
If ain't nobody else going to say it, I will. The elephant in the room.
Who'd you
I
pick for the
noticed it.
cup? Who did you pick for the cup last year? Was it Dallas?
I think I did. I think I picked Dallas to win it, too.
They went to the Western Conference Finals at least. They lost.
They didn't win,
to-
though.
I mean, they
Actually,
got
I
there.
think I picked Boston to win.
Oh, well, still.
Either way.
Yeah, they lost in the
I'm not.
semis
This
to
is not helping
Florida.
my case. This is
So,
helping my
you know,
case. This is helping my case, not yours.
Well, at
Kiss of
least
death.
the Chiefs.
Yeah. Right.
I,
They
I,
did.
I heard a quote by Don Cherry, who apparently is back on doing simulcasts again. That
Oh,
if
really?
you're a real hockey
Excellent.
fan, you either love or hate the Leafs.
I think
So
most people hate them, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I must be a real hockey fan because I can't stand that team. Never
I don't-
could. I never could, and I embrace the fact that they haven't won since 1967.
to be honest, I really don't hate the Leafs. They're just kind of like, okay. I just like
Oh,
watching.
their fans are such buttholes. I mean,
I mean, I don't hate
God.
them, but I love watching them suffer. So I
Yeah.
guess that counts. But anyway, Swoopy's saying, and you aren't forced to have to block as many shots and stop the other team from getting set up and have control of the puck. Mike, my scam is cure for baldness. I swear it's not snake oil. And let's see here. Mike's all saying, I'm picking Chaos, Flyers and Sharks Cup, a rebuild cup. Oh, God, don't do that to me. No, I would never want to see the Flyers and the Sharks in the Stanley Cup final, ever. Anyway. Priz saying, Dallas has been to the conference finals a crazy amount of times since they lost to the Blues the year that they won the finals. That's true. They were in the finals the they were in the finals the following year because they faced off with Tampa in the bubble. And then they lost, I think, not the next year, but the year after that, they got to the conference finals. And last year. So, yeah, Dallas has been in the third round a lot, which unfortunately is not a good sign that they've been in the conference finals this many times and they've been eliminated. Because usually that's a bad sign. Because the Flyers did the same thing in the Eastern Conference Finals in the early 2000s and late 90s. Lots of Eastern Conference Finals appearance, one Stanley Cup Finals appearance that we don't like to talk about. So that's not a good sign. And
Yeah,
San
gentlemen,
Jose-
that sounds very familiar over here at Madison Square Garden as well.
Just a little.
All those semifinals, we finally get to the finals, then get cheated by referees. And now
Yeah.
the same things going on. Same things going on with this group. Because you remember the Martin St. Louis, Rick Nash group,
Yeah.
the Brad Richards group. That group, they were getting to the semifinals every year, and
I mean, they did get to the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals.
yeah, until the officials decided that they weren't going to allow the Rangers to win. Because goaltender interference was perfectly legal back then, apparently.
Oh, sweet relief. I finally got that carbon fiber out of my finger.
Of all the things I thought you could have said right there, that was the least likely that I expected.
Like, keep you on your toes, Robbie. Come on, man. You've known me too long.
It's called subverting expectations.
No, I had to replace a stick extension, and some of that carbon fiber decided it wanted to hang out my finger. I got most of it, but I finally got the last chunk of it out.
That's
It
painful.
was like 2 weeks ago. It's not pleasant.
I would think you guys would wear gloves, right, when you do that?
Sometimes. I usually wear gloves if I have to do skate work,
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense.
just because I don't want anybody's nasty, sweaty ass. Ugh.
Yeah. they're kinda
Or-
good.
Hey, real quick, guys, Ralphie sent us that tribute that they did in Columbus to Johnny. You want me to share it to the show?
Yes.
Yeah, go right
Yes,
ahead.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead. While you do that, Priz saying Dallas has been the quietest chokers in the reality since the past 10 years. Dallas has had their they've had their misfortunes in the playoffs that they've popped up a time or two. It's not been easy for them.
The only time they really choked, though, was against Seattle.
No, they beat Seattle.
Oh, they beat Seattle?
They got to 7. They
Oh,
got
that's right.
real
You're right.
close. They
You're
had
right.
Dallas rattled. And I think
Yeah.
that set them up for their elimination in the Western Conference Finals when they lost to Vegas.
Yes, okay,
So,
that's it.
yeah.
But they lost to Vegas because they went 7 with Seattle and got worn out.
Right, well, because they got
I
rattled.
was convinced about that. Yeah, Ottinger
Yeah.
was terrible in that series.
Yeah, it was a rough one for him. Even they did win, but it
Yeah,
took a lot out
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you're right. It was the last 4 minutes. Dallas scored a couple of goals and pulled Game 7 out. Right? Isn't that
Just barely, yeah,
I
barely they
remember
pulled it out.
correctly. Yes.
I was
Well-
shocked well, I'm not shocked, but I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to see if Seattle would beat them too. But, it is what it is. Anyway,
All right.
Robbie, I do see you got it up there, brother.
You ready? Robbie, you want to set it up?
Yeah, basically, they did a great. This is from Ralphie, our producer, setting up the show earlier today. He brought it to my attention that They did a wonderful thing in Columbus in tribute to the late great Johnny Hockey, where they dropped the puck and they let 13 seconds go off the clock before they actually played the game as tribute, and the fans started chanting. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the audio to you in this when I share it. They started chanting "Love You, Johnny." So here we go.
They will drop the puck. 13 seconds.
What a moment.
Off the clock for Johnny Gaudreau.
It gives me chills.
What a class act from the Columbus Blue Jackets there. And that's a really very sweet, touching thing that they did for Johnny and for the Gaudreau family right there.
So to kind of build off of that, they did a couple other things too. So Columbus took a page out of the Flyers books and invited Guy to come practice with the team, which was absolutely phenomenal. I think it keeps him distracted. I think he needs it right now. And the other thing they did was both teams wore their respective jerseys, but every jersey said 13 Gaudreau on it. And they wore that during warm-up. So I thought that was another great tribute for Johnny as well. What this entire league has done for not just Matt, but Johnny and this whole family.
Aren't they all wearing a
has been
1321
amazing.
sticker on their helmet? Everybody?
Yeah, everybody's
Yes.
doing that, but everybody's
Every
got their
team.
own. Everybody's doing their own tribute. I think Pittsburgh did a tribute to Johnny where they did 13 seconds of celebration instead of a 13-second moment of silence, where they wanted the crowd to get as loud as humanly possible to celebrate Johnny, which I thought was another great one. Like, these teams are doing phenomenal things for Johnny, and just shout out to Cole Caulfield too for not only changing his number to 13 for Johnny, but dude's on a 3-game goal streak. Like, let's go.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's nice to see the league doing this for the Gaudreau family in honor of the memory of Johnny and Matt Gaudreau, for the tragedy that happened right before the season. And it's good to see when the league does this. They did it for Oscar Lindblom when he had cancer. They did the Oscar Strong thing, which took over the entire league, and now they're doing something similar, even more so because of the fact that sadly 2 people are no longer with us. But again, it's nice to see that the league continues to do that, continues to do things like this. It's a very nice thing to see the NHL do. Let's see here. So let's dive back into the comments here. Swoopy saying, didn't you all say the Bruins would become a bad team this year in a question last year on one of the shows? I think Robbie was the only one who still believed in them a little.
I was wrong when I said they were too old, and they outdid my expectations last year. I mean, on the back of Pasternak, but
I mean, I definitely was on the bandwagon of, I think they were taking a step back. Did I think they were going to be absolute dog shit? No. I definitely didn't think they were going to be dog shit, but I definitely didn't think that they were going to be... I didn't expect them to have the year they had last year. Like, they had a much better year than I thought they were going to. And in the end, they showed that they had depth scoring, which was something that we thought that they weren't going to have. And Bruins somewhere found the right players to get that depth scoring going.
They always do.
Right. That's
They're
what
very
happened.
they're a very well run organization. I know they haven't won. They haven't won the cup in a few years, but not. It hasn't been really that long if you think about it. They're always competitive.
Well,
Even
I
when
mean,
they were rebuilding, they were getting 90 points a season.
right. I mean, they've gone to 2 finals since 2011. And sure, they were unsuccessful bids, but they were very close series. They could have gone either way. The one against Chicago ended in overtime. So Dave Boland's the only reason why the Blackhawks had that other cup.
Right.
And then the other one went to 7. And that was just a terrible game for Tuukka Rask. But that's the only reason why they don't have a Stanley Cup in any other time but 2011.
Well, the way I figured is 2 years ago they win the President's Cup. They go in a gauntlet of a season, right? Long deep into the playoffs, right? And that's a lot of hockey be played. And then you lose players. You're another year older. They're not replacing it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of question marks. So I thought they had a chance to miss the playoffs last year, but they still finished second in the Atlantic. So they're the 2-2 start this year. They're going to be in it somehow. They're just a good coach team, good organization, and there's still some skill there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know a lot of people are still kind of sleeping on Korpisalo, but really, if anything, it's a holding pattern until they officially have Swayman back into the swing of things, which I think he is now.
Oh, he definitely is.
So it's like, that was more of he was just holding it until he was keeping it warm for Swayman, basically.
And it makes it so much easier for the Boston Bruins to continue this strong play when you have a good young goaltender. And that's what Jeremy Swayman is. He's a stud. And quite frankly, contract that he's on, this contract that he just got, is going to be an absolute steal of a deal in the next 2 years. Because Shesterkin's going to get paid. Ottinger's going to wind up getting paid. You're going to see, Jesper Wallstedt he just got paid, but once he takes over and becomes the franchise goalie they expect him to be in the next 2 years, he's going to redo his contract. He's going to get paid. It's just a matter of time. This is a great deal for Swayman. This is a great deal for the Bruins.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, obviously, we knew that they were going to figure out something with Swayman. We knew that was going to happen.
Shesterkin's going to reset the market.
Most likely.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get his 12 to 14. He's going to reset the market.
And let's see here. Mike does say the Bruins are poo. And he also goes on to say that the Pens are a tier lower than poo. So,
isn't that a shame?
Yeah. Couldn't have happened to a nicer team.
Yeah, the boys of the Rangers spanked them silly last week. And you know what? They won 6-0, and they had a goal disallowed, which was a bullshit call, and they dominated that game after the first 10 minutes of the first period. That it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Pittsburgh's goaltending right now is a problem for them. Jarry. Now, I only saw the game against the Rangers, but Jarry did not look very good in the first and second period. He made some really nice saves in the third period, but it was by the time he really started making some great saves, it was already 5-0. So,
I mean, I will say this: I think Tristan Jarry has had a lot of success when he's worked in a tandem. I think that's where Jarry really thrives. I think he logs more of the games than his partner, but I think as a tandem, that's where I think Jarry actually gets more comfortable in. I think if you have Jarry start most of the games, that's where you start to see the problems, basically, with him.
yeah, the game.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, that's not exactly how you want to start the year, but we'll see as they go down the line. Anyway, Priz saying the only difference in the Cowboys and the Stars is that the Stars GM really wants to win and knows what he's doing. He finishes that up by saying, fuck Jerry.
Jerry has dementia. He's 80-something years old. He's got dementia, dude. It's over.
Did you see Jerry's little outburst on the fan in Dallas?
Did not know.
No, if you get a chance, the I think it's on X. He made they were interviewing him, and all they were doing was just asking him some questions about about some of his acquisitions, which have really been very bad. And he said he insisted he's going to get these two guys fired because he didn't like their questions. which makes
I
me
could see
feel like,
that.
you know what? Compared to Jerry Jones, John Mara is the king is the king of England, for God's sakes. I mean, why would you even come on the radio if you can't handle a few tough questions?
True.
That Dallas game really made my weekend, especially after watching Daniel Jones for another game.
I will say this. There's one thing in sports that makes you laugh is when you see a meddling owner and you see the team not achieve anything because the owner keeps meddling in the product. It's like, wow, I just can't get enough of watching you screw your team up. You don't let anyone do their job, do you?
I actually saw.
It takes
I
since
heard.
1990 still.
I listened to a rare cut of that interview, and Jerry Jones went on and said, "I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you sniveling kids."
Okay.
So the lineup's out for the game tonight. While we got 10 minutes, we might as well just
Take a look, preview.
jump over and
Yeah,
preview the
gotcha.
game. So give me a second here. I'll pull it back up. I mean, it's not very much different from the opening night lineup. You're plugging Lachenko back in, so he's getting to start tonight playing second line center between Forrester and Konechny. You're taking Cates out. Paling is taking back over center on the fourth line with Lawton and Hathaway on each side of him. Defensive pairings, same as it has been. It's York, Sanheim, Johnson, Drysdale, Zamula, and Risto.
Hold on, Brian. Let me see, because Rob has the graphic up of it.
Yeah, throw it up. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
just to supplement what he was
Oops,
saying.
sorry,
yeah.
Matty.
There it is.
Sorry, dude.
I'll slide it around a little bit. Hold up.
Here, let me just take that off for a second. That makes it a little bit better. There we go.
Nice.
Yep. So Tippett, Frost, Michkov on the first line. Second line, you got Forrester, Lachenko, Konechny, Farabee, Coots, and Brink on the third line. Lotz, Paling, and Hathaway on the fourth, which is pretty much what they had for opening night, and got a lot of success with it. And holy crap, do they have speed? Let's go.
So
yeah,
Mike,
putting Lachenko in the top six, over Coots, that's
Oh,
interesting because I like the chemistry that Farabee and Brink showed on that, but this is a good opportunity. Him and Forrester could go nuts with TK on the other side. I like the
yeah.
makings of this, and Frosty has played well in both games, so this is nice.
this is.
Mhm.
I was worried when he went down in that win against Calgary. I'm like, oh God, please no. Frost just had a great start in game one. Please don't take him out.
Right, I know, I was scared, but it was nice when he came back, right?
Right, it was.
Yep. And like I stated, defensive pairings the same as it's been the last couple games. York, Sanheim, Johnson, Drysdale, Zamula, and Risto. Sealer has been skating for the Flyers, but not quite ready to take the jump into gameplay yet. He's getting closer every day, though.
So are they wearing the black jerseys tonight, or are they just doing
No.
it for the graphics?
No, I think they just do it for the graphics, right, Robbie?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, left wing. They always pick the choice uni for the teams to represent that. It's great for looking up the line combinations and also what was the site? I'll get credit to the site though for checking your starting goaltenders. It's great for if you play NHL DFS, but earlier this afternoon, Sam Harrison was confirmed in that for the Flyers. Stuart Skinner confirmed for Edmonton Oilers.
Light
They're
them up.
they're catching Edmonton at a very good time, by the way.
Light them up.
Edmonton's already given up 15 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, 15-3.
Yeah.
Being out
That
there,
is-
that's a tremendous.
That's shark-like.
Right?
Only difference is the Sharks have an excuse. They're a rebuilding team.
Correct. They just didn't get beaten in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
Not too
I
much of
mean-
a hangover over in Edmonton, right?
Right? Yeah, none at all. I mean, hell, it's like, if the Sharks come out on a point against Dallas here, you could break out the champagne. But for
Yeah.
Edmonton,
heck
it's
yeah.
like, what the hell's going on here?
Just for the goalie comparison in this one, you got Sam Harrison going up against Stuart Skinner. Harrison looking at a 1-0-0 record with a 1.85 goals against and a 9.23 save percentage, which is outstanding, even though it is one game. it was an unbelievable game for Urson to really cement him as potential starter for the season moving forward. Stuart Skinner 0-2-0 with a 5.40 goals against for an 805 save percentage, which obviously, if you watch that first game, he just got absolutely shellacked. And this, they're right now sitting 30th in the league in goals against average, which is 5.
That's exactly
Brutal.
what it is, Priz. Daily,
Yeah.
Thank you. Daily face-off. That's where I check my goalie confirmations. They got good line combos as well. I like left wing that a little bit better because they give you the morning skate, to give you an idea of what they're experimenting with, what they're seeing in practice, and then giving you the pregame skate to confirm for the game. So both are good though, but daily face-off's great for confirming your goaltender.
Yeah, and right now it's the time to get on Edmonton about the penalty kill too. Their their power play percentage right now 44.4.
Oof.
Now's the time to jump on them. Allow them to take stupid penalties.
Christ.
Get under their skin. This is a very different team without Broberg and Holloway. I know Holloway didn't make much of an impact, but Broberg had a phenomenal year last year. Earned the contract he got to be stolen away from St. Louis. This is a team to jump on right now, and they're not killing penalties. Their goalies can't save a beach ball right now. You want to make a statement? Tonight's the night to do it.
I'll tell you right now, though, Broberg is probably giving the biggest middle finger to Edmonton right now because of how well he's playing in St. Louis. It is hilarious. But me metal
Edmonton's
Mike.
capped out. There's nothing they can really do.
Oh, that was a good scoring chance
No,
there.
you're right. The second line is the Jet line. Ooh, I like that. Get some solid line mates with Jet. Call it that. I would love that to be a new line for the Flyers. That'd be cool.
I don't know if I could say
Fast,
that
speed.
though, Chris.
Speed.
Speed.
Yeah. And let's see.
Chris, I don't know if I could say that about the Blues though. I got a buddy who works for them. I can't. I got a little love for the Blues right now because I got a buddy who works for them. So I can't say that. I can't say that.
I mean,
He's a scout. He's a scout. He's actually their pro scout. So let's
see here. Swoopy saying Vasily Pogolson could have helped Matt V. He's going to get very good. Hasn't shown much yet. I believe he will. He also came over sooner than he was supposed to from Russia.
I mean, where you put him?
Nice.
Who do you take out of the lineup? That's the issue. I can't. They were fine without him. They don't need him. They got plenty of wingers.
Mike's saying, look up the 1980s yellow Blues jerseys and tell me that's not mustard. Oh, that is. Those old jerseys that the Blues had? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had some terrible jerseys in the 80s. When they had the Blues written over the jersey and had the logo underneath, those were ugly. It's like, who thought that was a good idea? Who thought it's like, oh, yeah, let's write Blues on the jersey underneath the logo? It's like, that is stupid. The logo's fine, but why are you have that down there? What, are you afraid people aren't going to know? What, they don't know that you're the Blues? Your jersey's blue. You dumb fuck. Anyway.
And you have the logo.
There's your quote, Maddie.
I got Benny's show quote. Jesus Christ. Look at this one. I got love for my wife, but if she worked for the Rangers, I would say fuck the Rangers. I would still say fuck the Rangers. I have no hatred for the Blues though. Like it's not like if he worked for the Kings, which oddly enough, his dad actually works for the Kings. I would say that, but I can't for the Blues. Although his dad could really whoop my ass, so I'm not really going to say that.
But also on top of that as well, though, I don't think the Blues and the Ducks have really met in the playoffs. I don't think they have.
Not recently, at least.
Yeah, if they did, it was a long time ago. And I mean, when Disney still owned the Ducks time ago. So
yeah, probably. Which By the way, I don't know if you guys have watched any of the Ducks games yet. Probably not because they haven't been on ESPN or Hulu. The jerseys are sharp. The uniforms look good. They came out really nice.
I did see I caught a glimpse of the Ducks jerseys because they were facing the Sharks. They're not bad. I like them. I like because they're classic style, just with the new colors.
Mhm.
What about the Kings? How are we feeling about the Kings jerseys?
Love them. Classic.
I do like that Kings logo. It might just be because, that was the Gretzky era for them, but still, Anyway, so before we close out this edition of Flyers Talk A2D, is there anything we want to say? Any scores we want to throw out? I think we can do that, right? Throw out the scores. Oh, and Brian, you'll have to give the poll results as well.
I
before
do.
we close this sucker out.
I'm going to jump in and say I think the Flyers win tonight. I think they send the Oilers to an 0-4 start because of how good the power plays looked, right? They made crisp passes in the Vancouver game, and it really came to fruition against Calgary, putting up 2 power play goals. They rank 13th in the league right now, and I know it's early, but the Oilers are already dead last in PK rank, so that's a sizable difference advantage for the Flyers. I think they win 4-2 in regulation, obviously.
All right.
4-2 in overtime. Let's go.
4-2 in overtime. What? Are the refs drunk? Anyway. So
some goals count for 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You
if you hit it from the blue line.
Urson hits the goal, it's 2
neutral
points.
zone. Yeah. It's 2 points if the goalie scores.
2 points from the crease.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna say I see a very big Flyers win here. Big momentum change after this game in Calgary. I'm with Rob. Power play's got to strike tonight. You got to take advantage of playing the worst penalty killing unit in the NHL right now. Take advantage of these goaltenders just being absolutely putrid. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think Urson stands on his head once again. I say it's going to be I'm going to say it's going to be 5-2. These would be 5-2 Flyers in this game, and we're going to have 2 power play goals in this one.
All right. Mike is saying 5-0. I am going to say 5. You know what? I'll let Edmonton have one. 5-1. The score will be the Flyers won't get a shutout, but they'll get a statement victory all the same.
Did I just get prices righted?
$1.
$1. 5907, 5908. You mother.
The 5th goal will be an empty netter. Urson will score and join Ron Hextall in the pantheon of goalies who've scored a goal.
Nice.
4-3.
Mark it.
4-3 Flyers. They win in overtime.
Oh, so you think it's going to be competitive? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do because I was reading a little bit today about Chris Knobloch is already getting crucified by the Edmonton fans right now. Edmonton fans are now being compared to Montreal Canadian fans. Isn't that nice?
Even though, quite frankly, they really don't have that much of a leg to stand on. It's like, yeah, you won 5 cups. Montreal's 124.
It's just a standard. I mean, this team has set a standard.
Team. You know that, right?
Right.
Well, Knobloch could be Knobloch, right? Because he stepped in last year,
Yeah.
right? And if they doesn't watch himself, somebody could axe him off. And
Well,
the key thing,
they're saying that if they get slaughtered tonight, he might be gone.
right, right, and the players feel that, McDavid coming up as captain, stating that they feel that they've been on the opposite end of a lot of poor puck luck in this 3 games. So that always has a way of working. The hockey gods will work. What's that?
15-3 is not bad puck luck.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. You do make a good point. Maybe. But at any point, I still think they're going to put out an effort to, really stabilize this team and step up for the coach.
That's why I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
By the way, there already
Right.
was a goalie who scored tonight. Gustafsson for the Minnesota Wild scored.
You're
Is
kidding.
that right?
Yeah,
Nice.
I
apparently
missed it. I got the freaking game on.
he scored. Minnesota scored 4-1, 8.5 seconds left in the third, and Gustafson was the one who got it apparently.
Good on
Yeah,
him.
they're showing the replay now.
So good
Good for
for
him.
Gustafson. He joins
him.
the very small list of goalies who can say they've scored in an NHL game, which I believe is just Ron Hextall and Brodeur. I don't think Wad did it.
No.
No. Yeah, I think they're the only two. Really?
I will. I'm gonna throw this little tidbit out here before I read off the poll results because we got to wrap this thing up.
All right, go ahead.
So I'll say this: I don't see Knobloch getting fired this year. They just went to the Cup Finals. I know they're having a rough start. This is a team that always has a rough start, but they
They were
always
2-7
find their
and 3 to
footing.
start last year. 2-7 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a
They
rough
were one
start
of the
last
worst
year.
teams in the league last year overall, and then they turned it around under Chris
Right.
Knobloch. They historically start off slow. Knobloch isn't going anywhere. Edmonton Oilers fans have set an unrealistic standard for this team that can't be matched. And I honestly, I don't necessarily know if I blame them because this team has been bad for so long, and you have such a good stretch of hockey going on right now over the last, I don't know, since McDavid's been drafted, so almost 10 years. I don't blame them. Have high standards. You got the best player in the league. But real quick, we're going to do the poll results, and then we got to get the hell out of here.
Go ahead, bro.
What the hell is PK wearing? Anyway,
I
whatever.
don't know.
So poll results here. Despite being 1-1, the Flyers look like a better team from last season. We have 14 people voted in. We appreciate all 14 of you that voted in. 86% agree to the poll, and a whopping 14% have disagreed. Guys, freaking love you. You know, we want to keep this poll thing going. You know, we get more and more people voting on the poll over on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, do that. Join the show on the YouTube side. Be a part of the chat in there. Our YouTube fam is absolutely amazing. And make sure you vote on the poll next week.
All right. Awesome. And
Wait, why am I getting
right.
called out, Prez?
I don't know, but apparently a comment went over your head.
Which one?
I guess the one where he's talking about Knobloch. And then he also says because the hockey gods are a bunch of jackoffs.
Yeah, I love that comment until I saw Red Devils win the cup, and then you lost me.
So I think
Right.
got Markstrom. They'll be fine.
By the way, Wes McCauley should not be allowed to referee hockey games. Worst ref
Agreed.
in the league.
Agreed.
I don't think I've ever heard a referee get more bullshit. Like I've never heard a referee get criticized more than him. He's
Let
the
me tell
only
you
one.
something. He is the new Kerry Fraser of the NHL. Every game he referees, the fans chant "Ref, you suck."
Yeah.
Every ref.
That's not-
They all
that's
get that
not
chant
good.
now.
Huh?
They all get that chant now. I hear it in every game that I watch.
I get you.
Well, he really. Let's put it this way, okay? He richly deserved it the way he screwed over the Rangers Saturday night. It's like Utah had to win the game, so no matter what, he was going to just screw the Rangers over every chance he got. I mean, I've never seen a guy get high stick in the face, in the mouth. Okay, the guy scores a goal, but meanwhile, his follow through on his slap shot hits Braden Schneider in the mouth. He gets like a bunch of stitches under his lip. No penalty, goal counts. They don't even consider it. I mean, look, since when? I thought you were responsible for your stick.
Unless it's on a follow through, that's the only way that it could be a non-penalty. That's egregious though. But I mean, there was an egregious call last year that got a lot of heat and even some
but it
death
doesn't matter.
threats.
You're still responsible for your stick. You can't hit a guy in the mouth.
On the follow through, the player responsibility to not be in the line of fire, though. I think I have seen
If
a
you
non-penalty.
go down to block a shot, it's one thing, but when you're standing up,
Right. Yeah. No. I hear you. I'm not saying I 100% agree with it, but
since when does a goalie come out of his crease on purpose to hit somebody so he can get a goalie interference call? And then he gets scored on, and he's just I can't. That is one guy that needs to not be allowed to ref games. I just every time I watch him, like the games, and it was a joke. Yeah, Andy Van Holloman was pretty bad too. And I know Wally Harris. There's a Greg McGill. I mean, we could go on and on and on with that. But okay.
All right, guys. So we thank everybody for joining us for this edition of Flyers Talk A2D. Flyers and Oilers getting started up here. We will see how the Flyers do tonight. Hopefully they'll catch an Edmonton team that's down on their luck and maybe get themselves on the winning side of things before they head back home. And in the meantime, if you like what you were listening to, like Bryce said earlier, subscribe, hit the bell. We got everything for you guys hockey-wise, but we've also got everything for the baseball, basketball, wrestling, everything. We cover everything pretty much right here at A2D Radio. So check it out. And we were brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Any aches and pains, go to the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. Until next week, you stay safe, you stay healthy out there, folks. Let me just do a quick check before we sign off. Next week, we will have a game, and it'll actually be during showtime. Well, no, we'll just miss it because it starts at 6. Of course it does. Flyers and Capitals.
Post game.
Yep, we'll have post-game reaction to the Flyers and Capitals next week.
We'll be catching the shootout.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The
Live
10
stream
point
it.
sh-
Live stream it for the peoples.
Easy show criteria for me to write up next week. Post game.
Right.
Oh, we already know. I already know what we're doing. Let's go.
So that'll be next week. Until then, everyone stay safe, stay healthy out there. Peace and love, everyone.